Okay, I'm excited about this. I'm on Zoom right now with a gentleman who you definitely know, and you're here watching this because you are dying to see what he is going to share with you. So the very quick backstory to this is when Heideki was pre-released, but kind of very close to the finish line, I reached out to Gregory Wilson, a gentleman who I'd had a couple of emails with over the years, but never met, never spent time with. And I didn't think he would reply. I just thought, oh, it's a key thing. He'll probably like it. And
Wait, who is this?
and what happened was he replied and he said, I was kind of bold in my email. I said, hey, this is a thing. Here's the trailer. Obviously, it would be amazing if you would help me with this and offer some feedback, maybe offer a quote and all of that. And very, to my great surprise, Greg replied, very nice email. We jumped on a Zoom call right after I got that email, and I showed him what Heideki was, and close-ups of it and the quality of it and all of that, and then obviously got one out to him all the way in California, and now we're here about to share with you some awesome stuff that Greg's come up with using Heideki, and honestly, it feels like I'm in a I don't know, on cloud cuckoo land. So as a magician, this is a lot of fun for me. It's bonus additional content for everyone of you that has invested in Heideki. So I don't want to talk anymore. I'm just going to be here in the background. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna learn from Greg Wilson. So everybody, I don't know, what do people do on Zoom? That kind of invisible clappy thing. I don't know. Look, it's Greg Wilson, everybody. Here he is.
Hey. Delighted to be here. For starters, when you showed this to me over Zoom, I thought it was brilliant. And you did it from the keychain. And I go, why didn't somebody else think of that before? And then I had to tell you that I did. But I didn't do anything with it. Like when I put out Freaky way back in 2007, I thought, a shell would be kind of cool, but manufacturing wasn't that sophisticated. And okay, I procrastinated. I just didn't listen. When I saw the craftsmanship on that, I said, you did it right. You did it first. Congratulations. You're going to sell 1 million of these things. It's one of those EDC tricks that people are going to definitely want to carry with them, because it's, what do you leave the house with? You leave,
right.
You got your phone for sure. You got your keys. You got your Hyundai 500, your Pointless, your I'm sorry.
Everything.
Exact change. So now you got Heideki, which is also the perfect name.
And I remember when I showed it to you, we were showing you on camera, and you actually recognized where the keychain came from, right? Because this is one that came with Freaky. So this is this has seen a few travels and a few adventures, but it was fun that you recognized that. And the key on the keychain on the trailer, although Heideki really is with me all the time when I leave the house, and it's with my house key, for the sake of video, I felt a bit safer putting not my house key on there. And you noticed that it was actually the key from Freaky, the ungaffed kind of brass one. So
I can't believe I didn't say you have to leave the house with Freaky, and this is a key trick. Hello. So what you did with it, I don't know how extended or elaborated your routines are beyond just a vanish. I'm sure it vanishes and reappears. That's a given.
Yeah.
In fact, we talked about that. It can vanish, go to your pocket. It can go to their pocket. It can go under their seat when they're sitting down.
Yeah.
1 million different ways for it to appear and disappear. But I came up with something that uses that. Have you seen one of these before?
A rock? Yes, we have those in England.
Yes, it's called a rock. But it's not what you think it is. It's a fake rock. It's just like our news. It's a fake rock here. But I want to know, look, we're in the deception business. How deceptive does that look?
On a table, little less than is intended to be, I think. But
I think that might look better in a garden. And I don't know how burglars get fooled by this. Don't the good guys and the bad guys get the same catalogs? That seems so obvious to me. And here's another anti-theft tip for you. The keys. So I got my house key, and I've got my car key and my house keys. Here's a hot tip. Never have your spare key on the same key ring.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, because if you lose one, you lose them both, right? So you always want to separate them, which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to stand so you can see this better. Check this out. So I've got my two house keys. One of them is a spare key. One of them should go on the key ring. Another one you should hide. I'm going to do this real slow for you here and move this down so you can see it. So one of them goes on my key ring and one of them hides. One on the key ring and one of them hides, just like that. The question is, where in the world could it possibly be hiding in plain sight? No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. Wait a minute. I'm doing your lines for you. No, it couldn't be. Oh, look what I found. A special hiding spot right there. Look, I'll do it again. Now you know what to look for. Don't look away. Don't look away. One of them goes, remember, one of them goes on the key ring. Another one gets hidden. Oh, wait a minute. I think this is the one that should be hidden because this is the one over here on the key ring.
Oh, look. So good.
And that now, look, I'll do it again. I do it again because you didn't know what to look for. Now you know what to look for. By the way, did you see it go over here? Did you see the key go over there? Nobody, they don't know where to look. Do you look in this pocket? Do you look over here? Do you know, you don't know which key to look for? You didn't know if I was going to use the rock. You didn't know what to look for. So now you do. I'm going to tell you in advance. Look right there. Watch that pocket. Don't look away and watch that key. So it's going to go over here to this pocket on the key fob. You ready for this?
Okay.
Where are you going to look?
At the pocket. I'm not taking my eyes
off.
At
the pocket. Where's it going to go?
It's going to go to the pocket.
On the key fob. In my pocket on the key fob. You know what's going to happen before it happens, just like that. Slowly and fairly, you knew what was going to happen in advance, right on the key fob. Wait a minute. I got the key. The key went over there. Where's the fob? Wait, and my car keys. They're both. This is freaking me out. I wonder where it could be. No, no, it couldn't. I'm doing your lines again for you. No, it couldn't be over there. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. I have them pick it up and they shake it. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. They do this. They drop it out there. They're happy. I'm happy. Everybody's happy, especially for me, because look, I've got a special place to put my key and my spare key. And like I say, I just hope, I hope the burglars don't get the same catalog.
No good.
I have to tell you, I tried this once for my spare key. I put it under the mat, but I put it under the mat with the rock, and the lump was a giveaway. I don't know how. I got to go back to magician school.
That's it. That's health and that's a trip hazard, I think, in the health and safety business. That's this is so good. This is so cool. This is amazing. The rock is still not very convincing, but the routine is really good.
I don't know. It's just
it looks a little too Hollywood. It's been in California too long, that rock. That's what it is. It too much aging or something.
I think it would look good in Iceland. Everything's lava. It looks like a lava rock in Los Angeles. It's not convincing. But so that's the routine. It's multi-phased. It's fully orbed. And how many times have I performed that for an audience? Zero. You just got me the keys. I put that together in about an hour. I've had this for years and years and years that I had for a separate routine.
Yeah. And
the vanishes weren't as deceptive as they were with this. So when I found out you had this, I made the connection with this. It's a perfect 1-2 punch. They complement each other way better than I originally designed it. So everything all came together in about an hour because of your hide-a-key set.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really amazing. And I know when we spoke originally, you told me about the thing that you've been doing with the Heideki rock for years and years, and I was happy to hear that you could incorporate that with the Heideki set. But
yeah, what it would do, it would continually go under and under. That's why the trick was called rock bottom. And then the last one, it didn't go under. They shook it, it went in. So it's like my the card box. It would go on, the card would go on top, then under, then in, then the whole deck would go in. But this just makes it so unbelievably clean, easy to follow. It's not too long. It's a perfect little performance piece. Your multiple versions of Heideki are impromptu.
Yeah.
You know, spur of the moment. This is a set performance piece. When you have a table, you have a small audience, and they're ready to see something more formal.
You know what this is great for? So this would be great. I'm a big believer in, there's a few people in Magic, but one in particular is the Jerks, right? He talks about lots of interesting things, but one of the kind of concepts he talks about is having things around your home or in a specific place in your home that are interesting objects or strange things, or they can just be like a deck of cards or something, that when people say, what's that? You have a whole kind of thing you can do for them or share with them or experience together. This is also great for that, because that rock would look almost comically funny on a bookshelf or, you know, on a coffee table or something. And if you were really desperate to show someone this routine, which is killer, it would be great to let them ask, like, why do you have a rock on your coffee table? Why is that in the kitchen? Or I don't, or you know, somewhere more kind of obnoxious and funny. But also at the same time, I can totally see you doing this at an event. I could see you doing this at the castle. I could see you doing this at a private party. It's interesting. It's very magical. It's got all these elements of, I mean, for you, it fits so well with what you do. You know, it's about where is our attention at certain point. Do we leave thinking that somehow you snuck that in there without us seeing you do it? Was it sleight of hand? Was it magic? Did you, you know, like, it's all kind of ticks all those boxes. But I could also see people doing this routine as part of a more formal, you know, performance or show, and it feeling very different in someone else's hands. But I mean, I love it. I think it's really amazing, and all of it's amazing. But what I really enjoyed seeing then, right, is how you're vanishing the key, because I know that you have great experience with coins. I know that you have great experience with sleight of hand magic, and that's a part of magic that, you know, isn't my bag. I love it, and I spend time thinking about it and practicing it. But it's really interesting to me to see how you're doing that. You've shown me that vanished previously, right? And I said the same to you then. I think it's a really cool, interesting, and it just looks so effortless when you do it. So if you want something different than just swinging it in the air, this is really interesting to me, to take it off, have it there, and to make it vanish.
So let me address a bunch of the things that you said. For starters, with the Jerks, I love the idea of putting things everywhere and having them bring it up, because it's a pressure-free transition. Yeah. Because they're asking about it. It's not like you're foisting the magic on them. And Nate Leipzig, back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, said, when people found out that he was a magician, oh, can you show us something? He goes, sure, soon. He didn't do it right away. Yeah. Then they'd ask him again. He goes, yeah, we'll get around to that. And then when they finally ask him a third time, they're begging for it. So they're less likely to try to figure it out, to be antagonistic, to be challenging, because he's almost doing them a favor. That's why he was known as the gentleman's magician. Mm. So that's the first thing. Regarding this being like on a table, I can easily say someone going, what's a rock doing on a table? And then I would say, does that look real? Does that look real? I mean, this side, not so good. This side, not so good. But what about that? Does that look like the real deal? And you have all the transitions in the world. And what I really love about transitions is that the story should be so good that the magic is just a bonus to exemplify the narrative.
Yeah.
The magic is just a follow-up to something that's already interesting without the magic. That's why we should be interesting, being well-read, with a wide array of subjects above and beyond just a look, watch presentation.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So let's go into the method here. For starters, you're going to send them a link where to get this.
Yes, I'll put it in the description box of this exact video, so you'll be able to find it. From
okay, so it's from Amazon. It's the perfect one. I've done a lot of searching. This is absolutely ideal. It holds a second key fob set with a second key here. So let's get the other one over here. Now you know where it went. As if you didn't know anyway.
I didn't know.
So it's a second spare key and a key fob goes inside of here at the outset. And I like to put the key on the top because it's rubber here and it won't bang against the sides that will sound like there's something in there. But I also took felt. It's sticky felt that you can get at Amazon as well. You better hurry. I don't know how long Amazon's going to be around. So it's all felt in there and it's felt on here. So it prevents it from making noise this way, but the rubber here prevents it from making noise this way. So put as much sticky felt on as possible without jamming up the grooves.
Yeah.
So let's see. It goes this way in here. So if the slide goes here, everything goes in this way, not this way, because when you do that shuttle pass, you don't want the key accidentally coming out earlier when you're removing the apparent separate key. So it goes in just like that. So listen. Yeah. It might make noise this way. Well, it does make noise that way because later at the end I say shake it, and they do. But when I come out like that, nothing to hear.
Yeah.
It used to make a god-awful noise when I did put felt in there.
Yeah.
I had to come out like this.
Very carefully.
We're hunting rabbits. Be very, very careful. So, boom. So you just don't pick it up and start making noises. So you come out with that. You say, does that look deceptive? I'm in the deception business. I'm not convinced. What do you think? You think burglars are fooled by this hide key? Come on. And then you might say, does it make noise this way? No, it doesn't actually. I say, it doesn't look so good on this. I mean, it looks decent there, not so good on this side. What do you think? And you get a big laugh. And think about this. You haven't even done the trick yet. You've got intrigue. You've got laughter. You've got their full attention. They don't know where you're going, but they're on the edge of their seats.
Yeah.
Then you say, here's another anti-theft tip. And you bring out your keys. So it looks like this. You got your spare car key, make sure they look exactly the same. You got your extra key here. You've got your gimmick here, and here's how the gimmick goes on. The thin key here, the shell key here, this way. Let me just show you. I don't think it matters, incidentally, which one you show, the rough side or the smooth side. Do you?
I did, but then you said this to me, and I think it's a really interesting point, and it frees up the handling of it, right? So if you do put it in the other way or something, you made an interesting point the other day. Just you can feel the difference, right? So you know that can be advantageous for you performing it, but it is, I think, handy and kind of for people who are just getting to grips with this and aren't as well versed as you are, right? I'm in that group. I played around this for a long time, but I wish I'd known right at the beginning when I first started really playing around with samples that look really good. I wish I'd known that I could have put it in that other way. I just never have, because in my head it had to be smooth on both outside layers.
Oh, I see. Right.
You know,
I tell you why I think it doesn't matter is because when I was coming up with other ideas, it mattered. Here it doesn't, because it's all about orientation. That's already on the key fob. So again, that's the extra key. This is the thin key. Again, smooth on that side, rough on this side. Don't think it matters because you're not feeling for anything.
Yeah.
Here's the shell here because you already know where everything is.
Yeah.
So when I talk about this, I say, let me give you another anti-theft tip, which incidentally, this trick will get used by me because I have a criminal act. I'm known as the honest con man. All my stuff has to do with pickpocketing, card sharking, street swindling, mental manipulation. This is absolutely perfect for me.
No,
So when I say always, so I start off like this. I take them out of my pockets. I go, here's my car key. Here are my house keys. Do you see the mistake? They go, what are you talking about? Don't put them together. I got a spare key. Make sure they know it's a spare key presentation. Yeah. Like why and now drop it, turn it this way. So the car key is that way. The house keys are that way. And that's also where the opening is with this twist and turn key fob or key ring, whatever you want to call it. So you always want to separate them. That's the reason for removing it. So match your actions to words. Notice how my fingers here are covering, not in a suspicious way. I'm just not doing this, but like this. This looks like I'm supporting the key ring to keep it open, not hiding it, which is what I'm doing. I'm removing the shell like this, placing that on the table. And this is one of the rare times I use a table for my magic, by the way. Most of the time it's standing, impromptu, while other people are standing. But because I've got the rock, it's a formal presentation. And that's why I put the key here. I take the second key, the thin one that was just in, put it next to it, hiding that one. That's why my fingers were like this. Close it, put it away. If it makes noise, it's okay, because they know the house key is still on. I mean, the car key is still on there. Don't make a suspicious thing about it. You're just taken out of view.
It's not important anymore. Yeah.
And so you say, remember, always separate them. You don't want, and I'm always standing. You don't want them in the same place, because if you lose one, you lose everything. So remember this. And here's the vanish you seem to like. I'm putting one on top of the other, so it's already engaged and perfectly aligned. So all you have to do is this, and you're done. Stupid easy.
It's really good.
And basically what I was doing is simulating this being on a key ring without the key ring. It just feels just right. And don't worry about them thinking that this is a shell and, you know, part of the key is missing. They're not looking there. They're not thinking about that. I mean, there's not a big difference between really putting it on top of the shell and putting it in the shell. Plus, if you're telling a story, this is fascinating. Not a once upon a time, happily ever after story, but a story about anti-theft in this case. They're not trying to catch you. Yeah, they're trying to listen to you. Yeah. I mean, you know, you can't catch a story. Aha, I see how you had the story arc right there with your beginning, middle, and end technique. I'm watching you. They're not trying to catch your conflict resolution or anything. So I say, remember, one goes on the key ring, and here's what, let me just do the move first. Close it, put them both in here, take out one. Yeah. Why would they ever think that there's nothing there? For starters, you've got this perfectly aligned like a double lift. And then why would I have my hand closed like a weirdo if there was nothing there? So then you give it a squeeze and it's gone.
And you got this great display of this hand is fully empty. You know, you're taking that, you're doing it's so clean looking. It's so good.
And sometimes I even do this. It comes out this way. Sometimes I'll even do this to emphasize the singularity and go, gee, I wonder where. And then I'll tap here. I wonder where. No, it couldn't be. Then it's important. Oh, you know what? Something just hit me. I was wrong. I do want the rough side out.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to know that that's the shell.
Right. Yeah. So you do. Yeah. You want to be able to determine the difference. Okay.
Yeah. Because if I do this move and then I'm messing around, if I leave it like this, I know where the shell is. But if I'm doing stuff like this and doing all this, I might not remember where the shell is. Yeah. So if I know this is smooth, that's the shell. Rough, that's the extra key. So I was wrong. This is, you know, when I perform this a second time, I'm going to be an expert.
I'd say you already learned. Okay.
So now here's the only slightly difficult part in the entire routine. You're going to drop this key out while holding the shell at the same time. Okay. It's actually very easy, but it's the only part that's slightly difficult. And I might also mention that if this key ever gets bent, this thin one, it's thin enough to get bent back, but don't overbend it. Don't overbend it, because that has to be perfectly straight. If you overbend it and accidentally put it in this way, if you overbend it like this, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
But since I'm working with the rough part always in there now, maybe you don't have to worry about that. But I do 3 vanishes with this, so I got to remember to always put the rough on the outside. So you were in my head for a second as I was choreographing, so I apologize for that. So here's what happens now. Here's the extra key, the double lift key. I'm holding it like this. Then I'm going to transfer it like this. I'm just going to get to here.
Yeah.
Get to here. Get to here. Now I open it like this.
Yeah, this is so good.
And I go, oh, look what I found. Now, here's the most important part. This key has to get to this position. You got to get it from here to here. So a thumb on one side, first finger on the other side, and allow it to bypass all your fingers to fall out as I look at it and go, boom.
Great.
Now, there's 2 ways to do this, and you had a preference the other night. You could just do this, leave it on your fingers, and then drop it, and it's more elegant. But you like the idea of letting it drop out, so it feels like this is empty.
Yeah, I really do think that adds a lot. I think it feels like that thing's fully open, and then when you tip it down and nothing else comes out apart from that one key, it fully sells that it even looks empty right now on the camera.
Yeah, that's why I deliberately used a black. I'm kidding, but that is a cool black art principle in case it flashes.
Yeah,
that's actually really clever, totally serendipitously. So also, just to take some of that trepidation away of getting ready, set, go, you got to just put your fingers in there like this, like you're taking something out. So you're actually close to it, like you're trying to pull it out, and you just decide to do that. It's easier. Then close it, set it down, pick this up, put it in the same position it was before. But remember, rough side, rough on the outside. I'm going to remember that now. This is actually good for me. And I say, now you know what to look for. Watch again. Now, what do they think? It's obviously going to go back to the rock. You're not going to get me a second time. I'm watching extra close. And that's when you do a left turn and it appears over here in your pocket. So they're watching here. They're staring. They're glaring. Do that same move as before. Don't look away. Oh, and match actions to words. Here are the words. So remember what I said before. Remember what I said before. One of them goes on the key ring. One goes on the key ring and one gets hidden. Don't say vanish. Don't say that. Look, it's gone. It disappeared. It's vanished. No, it's hidden.
Yeah.
It's all about hiding. It's a move your head. Move your head. Oh, hide a key. It's all about a hide a key. Not a vanishing key. It's not a disappearing key. It's a hide a key. Yeah. So I'll do that one more time. By the way, I'm so glad I just thought of that rough on the outside. I'm glad you made it that way, because I was literally trying to, I'm fooling myself. This thing looks so clever and deceptive. So you do the move and you say, remember, one of them goes on the key ring and one of them gets hidden. Oh, wait a minute. I think I got it backwards. And that's, now you just change the script midstream. You go, I got it backwards. I think this is the one that gets hidden because this is the one. And don't do this. That's my magic pet peeve. Don't do this before you go in there. Just gesture. And it's a way of saying your hands. You can do this, but don't do this to overprove. You say, this is the one that gets hidden, and this one, and your hands are empty. You can do this and this. That says your hands are empty. And now you reach for it and you feel for the extra key and come out with this. Don't come out like this. You know what? I'm wrong. I think you could come out like this and display that one, because you might take a while to find it. And I think it's just, if you come out quickly, they'll see it. I was trying to find this one in my pocket, and it looked like I was
No,
playing
it's
pocket
nice.
pool.
You know, if you can find it easily, then grab that, and it looks nice. But yeah, I agree. If it just grab the fob or the car key, it also looks fine. But...
You could even do this if you wanted, I guess, and then just show it, because you're going to take it off again anyway. You say, look, I will do it again. Now you're going to place this one on top of the double key, put this away. You say, and then now I'm changing it to what I call past tense misdirection. It's so strong because you're not talking about what you're going to do in the future. You talked about what just happened in the past. So if you say something about the future, they're ready to catch you. You say something about the past, you're only recapping or reiterating what already happened. So they relax. It's total offbeat. And so I don't say, watch, I'm going to do it again. That's future tense. Instead, I say, did you see it go over there? That's past tense. Nobody does. They don't know which pocket to look for. They don't know which key to look for. They don't know if it's the rock involved. They don't know anything. What I did in that sequence is I placed this whole thing in my back pocket. So I could sneakily go, I could do the thing like dove workers. They turn to the side and their elbow sticks out and they're doing something suspicious over there. And the only people are fooled is like one row in the with one eye closed in a dimly lit hallway. Instead, I have a line. If you can't hide it, highlight it. Do it right in front of them. Just to look. I say, did you see it go over there? Nobody does. And then you just leave it there, come back out. It's kind of like my all-around vanish. Put it there, come back out. Don't palm it, slide it. You're just going to slide it to the back pocket. You say, nobody does. They don't know which pocket to look for. And look how I follow it up like this.
Right.
They don't, I'm disguising the original drop in this pocket with follow-ups to this pocket. So they don't know what the heck's going on. And remember, it's past tense misdirection. Did you see it go? Nobody does. They don't know which pocket to look for. They don't know which key to look at. They don't know if the rock is involved. You're halfway done. They don't even know you started yet.
This is so good. I know you know this. I know everyone watching this knows this, but it's like a tiny thing that I think is super important. I've seen you do a split focus before, not in person, right? But I've seen you do a load. You know, I know how you can very quickly and deceptively ditch a thing and steal a thing with this kind of pat down of the body, right? And one thing of many that you do when you do so well when you do it is even when you're simulating this to me on this Zoom call, you're like looking over here to the imaginary person that if you were really performing this for a group of people right now, you'd be locking eyes with that guy there and that guy there as you ask them that question and you talk to them. And that's the difference, I think, between it being super fooling and being, you know, all right, is the flow of it and the rhythm of it and the, like you said this, you know, when we were talking, whenever it was a few days ago, it's on the offbeat, and it's because of that, and because of there's no like pattern interrupt with like, you know, you don't get all stiff and lock up, and then you go to your back pocket, and then our brains go, oh, that was weird, and then later on we realize, oh, that was probably when it's just so.
Yeah, if you can reconstruct it later, I wasn't as smooth as silk as I thought that I was. And the reason it works because they think I'm already done. They think I hit the finish line. It went here, and they expected to go there a second time. Then it goes over here. In their eyes, they don't know about multiple phases. So why would they ever think there's going to be a third phase?
Yeah.
So I'm just talking about what already happened. You know, the race is over. We hit the finish line, and now we're just kind of hanging out and jogging a little bit. and then you say, oh yeah, by the way, watch this, and you do it again. So let me get the pattern of that one more time. So it's over here. So I take this. Let me just do it all in one continuous motion. So you take it out of your pocket like this. I just have one question. I always say, no, I'll do it again. I do say I'll do it again. But then I go to pass it, and I put it here flat with this one. So you're holding it like that. Very important, because you don't want to hold it over here or it's put it right on top of the other one. and then close it and say, "Did you see it go?" They go, "What do you mean?" I say, "No, nobody, no. Did you see it go?" Nobody does. They don't know which pocket to look for. Now, do you see the key when I'm moving it? Be honest with me.
No, I can't see a thing. It really looks like it goes in your pocket, and then you pat down your pockets whilst you're looking me dead in the eyes and you're talking to me. There's no way that's even beginning to flash up on someone's radar that they have moved from that front right jean pocket.
Because the very first time I did it, it felt a little flashy because I think I was over here. But even here, they shouldn't see anything.
No, I haven't seen a thing. I haven't seen a thing. It's
okay.
You totally caught me by surprise when you showed me this. It still catches me by surprise now. But
the look on your eyes the first time I did it, like, wait a minute, a key fob and a key that I just saw you put it in your pocket, and you gave me a quizzical look like, did that fool me? That didn't fool me. Did that fool me? I think it fooled me. Was it supposed to?
And I was thinking, I was like, God, has he gone to the lengths of putting a fake lining in his pants pocket all for this trick? God, no. You know, that's how convincing it was. And I'm sat here as a magician trying to piece it together. So yeah, I can absolutely testify to how
you were delighted I didn't have a second pocket, because nobody would do the routine then.
But I'm watching this on camera as well, right? So this is a locked-in frame. If this is very deceptive like this, but in real life, it's just gonna amplify by 100 as well.
We all know as performing magicians that when you do a sleight and they think you're done, they're laughing to each other. Are you kidding? Like, you could do a chimp flip and they wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend do this once because I was deathly afraid of performing in the early 80s. I mean, you can't stop me from performing now, but back then I'm like, I don't know, the people are there, they're watching. I don't, what do you do? So I could still do all the sleights. I could do bottom deals and Phoenix aces and boomerang card and all the finger popping knuckle busters, but people, I don't know. So he did this for me just to show me how easy it is in the real world. Someone selects a card, they put it back. He goes, "Okay, Greg, are you ready for this? This is going to freak you out. This is okay. Here we go. Let's get started." He literally cut the cards. He didn't do a Derek Dingle perfect, imperceptible pass because he chose when to start the race. So you put the card over there like that. "Greg, are you ready? This is for you. You watch close now. Okay, are you guys ready? There's the starting gate."
Yeah.
You can get away with murder. We practice in our mirror and on the unblinking eye of the camera, and we assume, and we assume that everything should be perfect. It should.
Yeah, agreed.
It shouldn't be sloppy, but it can be loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
And this is a loosey-goosey move when you say, we went a long ways for this, so let me just jump to it. I say, "Did you see it go?" Nobody does. You don't know which pocket to look for. You don't know which key to look at. You don't know if I'm going to use the rock or not. So now I'm going to tell you exactly where to look. Right there, that pocket. And this key. So you have to know which key. So you're going to put the double key in your pocket. You say, "Watch the key. It's going to go over to my pocket. You won't see it happen. And it's going to go on the key fob." Yes. What could they think just happened? You went in with the key. You came out with the key.
Yeah.
What they don't know is you went in with the double key and you did that, leaving this key coming out with the shell. So again, matching actions to words. I say, now you know where to look. That pocket. Do not look away from this pocket and this key. You remember? So this pocket, this key, and it's gonna go on the key fob. They're like, "What?" Okay, I'm watching this. They're watching extra close. Now I line it up. This takes all the pressure off of the alignment when it's already hooked in there. It's already settled in. And you said something the last time we chatted. You could hear a noise, but you thought it was a good thing. Tell them why.
Because if you were really putting two.
Wait. This noise, not the noise of placing it here.
Oh, no, but when you spin.
That right? Noise.
Yeah, that noise. That I think even more sells the opposite of what's actually happening. I think if you were really putting two keys in your hand and spinning it around to line it up and take one out, I mean, do it. You know, people watching this, do it with your normal keys, and it talks a little bit. And I think that sound of like a, you know, kind of like a click almost. That sounds like that sounds like what should happen. It's an extra convincer, I think, of like, look, I'm really going in there, and there's two things talking with each other, and I'm taking that out, and now it's over here, so there must still be one over here. And then when it isn't there, it's just another. It's the same as dumping out from the rock, from the Heidecke rock, and it falling out, and your brain just goes, well, it must be empty, because, you know,
it's an audio convincer, and it happens in one continuous flow like this, so it doesn't feel like a shell. And if they're thinking shell, they win.
Yeah, I mean, if they go there, then I mean, you know, run a mile, but they're never going to go there. It's so left field from what any normal person would anticipate.
Yeah, why would topologically, why would someone's brain go to a shell when they're, again, the best part about this routine is they're your keys. Everybody has keys. Everybody walks around with keys. They got their house keys. They got the car keys. They've been conditioned for the amount of time that they've been living on the planet that everything's normal and copacetic. So why would they ever think shell?
Yeah, exactly right. But I really love that, Vanny. I love the way you're handling that. I love the sound it makes. I love the visual of how that looks. So even on camera, when right now you're not, you know, you're on a MacBook, so it's not a big screen. I can very clearly see two keys, and I can very clearly see it becoming, you know, one comes out, one must still be here. It's just a really great way to do it. So I love this.
Also, this display, by the way, notice it's not 180 degrees. That's weird. It's not this close. I get right about there. So it just feels like there's definitely two, and there's a nice separation.
Yeah.
It's about right. So then when you put it together, you can make a noise, not make a noise, or start over. It's going to make a little noise, but you can talk over it or let them hear it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make a big deal of making them want to hear it, but if they do, I think you're clean. Then you pull that out, intimating, again, there's one over here, gone. And then, wait, I forget where I'm at. Oh, it's supposed to go here now. No, it's going to go back to the key fob.
Yeah.
Because I said it's going to go to my pocket. Like I said, to the pocket. Did you see it go to my pocket? They go, no. I go, ho, ho, ho. Now I can really build it up.
Yeah.
Because I told them where it's going to go. No surprise. Wait a minute. I got the key. The key went there like I promised, but there's no. Are you kidding? Where's the key fob? How can the key fob? What? And my car key. What the heck's going on? Maybe at that point you could blame them. I've been watching you. You get the same catalog, don't you? You're one of those guys. Yeah. And then make it look like they're the burglar if you want, but don't take too long. Don't dwell on that. You go, where could it possibly? Incidentally, notice that's the shell, or that's the shell. That's the extra key. You can literally do this. Facing them. There's no way that they're going to see that is a stacked key set. So I'll go, I say it like I've done this before. The way I do it of my hundreds of performances, I go, gee, I wonder where it could. No. And by the way, I do this with my card in box. So my continual running gag is no. And that prompts them to go, no. If that's, it could, that, and they're going, no. Give it a shake. Game over.
Yeah.
Game over. So now when they're opening that, I close these up so the holes align, because I'm going to put them both on there in a second. I'm sorry. I take that back. I'm thinking about something else. No, leave them like that. They shake. They open it up themselves. They drop it out on the table. And then I open, and then don't immediately put the keys on there suspiciously. Marinate in a moment. Let them freak out with them. I didn't see it. Did you see it? I didn't see it. I don't know what's going on. That guy over there, though. That's the guy. You got to watch him, though. And then, do I recognize you? Your mugshot. I think, turn to the side. I knew I recognized you. Have fun with it. Then when the dust starts to settle, then and only then open this up, take the double key, put it there, put that away in your pocket. You're clean. Put that, oh, look at this. There's my spare key. There's a place to put it. And have some clever epilogue at the end to say, now that you know, it's not as deceptive. But that would have fooled you in the garden. That would have got you. It doesn't look good under my mat, by the way.
This is so
key, good. You can put a key under your mat, but don't put the key in here and that under the mat. The lump is a giveaway. I'm just saying, I'm in the deception business. Don't make me put my expert card on you. And I'm just babbling now. Imagine if I get a second and third performance. I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this. That's literally an hour's worth of brainstorming with my own brain.
But it's so good, and it's just added a lot to it. It's taken in different directions. You know what I like about it? One thing I've really learned to pay attention to because of, people that I know in magic, I think, is how important surprise is. And what this has is the surprise of it's going to your pocket. Now, it's not, the keychain isn't in your pocket, but the key is. The surprise of it vanishing in your hands, the surprise of it being in the hide key the first time, then the real surprise of everything as somehow the car key, the fob, everything doesn't even look like it should fit in there, Greg. When you dump it out and it's on the table, it looks impossible that would all go in there.
And they dumped it out themselves. Can you imagine? It's kind of like have some balls at the end, and they, it's like you're faking a load and they open it for you. They're like, exactly what? That.
It's so good. And I really like that vanish. It's so different from anything. This has been a long time in the works, and I'd taken it off the keychain and had a kind of, compared to what you've come up with here, a kind of clunky, lay them on your hands, close up, reach in, take one out. But what you've done here with the spin around, the display, the clarity of it, the sound it makes, the flow of it all is, I think a lot of people will do it that way. They really will. They'll take it off the keychain. And this as well. You said this when you first showed this to me. You can do this whole routine, right, as a thing in your home. I mean, it'd be funny to even meet someone for a meeting. I do a lot of meetings in coffee shops with potential, clients and bookers and stuff. And you imagine you set that down on the table with your coffee.
That's very funny.
That's funny, right? People going,
very funny. So you're taking all your keys. You got your phone. You got your coffee. And you set that conspicuously off to the side. What's that? Oh, did you notice it? Oh. Yeah. I'm taking that back. I'm taking that back. They said nobody would notice it, but they said something. Would that look better in my garden? I think you have to be. You have to know your surroundings or something.
Yeah.
That's very funny at a meeting.
Yeah, that would be funny in a meeting. And I just think as well that this is, you made me aware of this, right? But you could pick and choose which parts of this you want to do. So if you're, I don't know, building confidence with it, and you want to have the first, I don't know, I think they should do all of it. I think it's all great. It flows really well together. But if someone watched you teach this now and then go, oh, I really like the initial vanish, go into the hider key, and then, they wanted to pick and choose and maybe end with the kind of final load bit or whatever. They kind of, it is modular in that sense, or it could be if they were to pluck and choose parts of it.
I'd have to think about that. I'm genuinely very agreeable, but I'd have to really reconstruct in my head if this should be modular, because one builds deliberately into the next phase. Because remember, when the first one vanishes, you've already introduced this. So it vanishes, it reappears over there. They expected it. Now you're going to do it a second time, and they know it's going to go there. They didn't know for sure, but it made sense that it went there because you introduced this prop. But now you tell them it's going to go there, and it doesn't, and it goes to your key ring. Those are all by design. Then you tell them it's going to go to the key fob again in your pocket. Boom, it's gone, and the key fob's gone. I think it has to go, more I think about it now, it has to go together like this. Yeah,
it has to build. And I guess when you put it like that, you're playing like table tennis with their attention and expectation of it's going to be here, over, and every time they look over here, it's actually over there, and every time they look over there, it's over here. And I think that's what makes it
all under the guise of teaching them about anti-theft.
Yeah, right. I know. And without the hider key rock, that's just an interesting way into what this routine. Like it's such a great justification for taking it off the keychain as well. Again, something I'd thought about, how often people lose their keys, how people misplace them, how you misremember where you put them, how sometimes it can be in the last place you look. I always thought that phrase of like, isn't it funny how the thing you lose is in the last place you look? I hope that's always tickled me because it's such a stupid thing to say, but we say it all the
Do you
time.
know the George Carlin follow-up to that?
No.
Oh, it's so good. I use it all the time and give him credit for it. I say, George Carlin said, it's always in the last place I look. I hope so. I hope so. You don't find it and continue looking. What an idiot that would be.
It's funny.
That was a George Carlin one. And then it gets a bigger laugh when I mention his name. So to speak to what you were saying,
yeah,
this is motivated in a few ways. Number one, it's a funny transition, but also, why are you carrying a spare key on your key fob? So I'm telling what to do by showing them what not to do. Never carry two house keys. Never carry your regular house key and your spare key, because you lose one, you lose them both.
Yeah.
So always, and here's your reason for removing it from the key fob, always separate them.
Yeah, it's good. It's really
one
good.
Goes on the key fob and one gets hidden. And notice how you match in actions the words. We're really going deep into the psychology of this, but you say, and one gets hidden. You're not going, look, it vanished like magic. Doug Henning, ooh, it's an illusion. No, one gets hidden.
Yeah.
Let's put masculinity back into magic if it ever were there. You don't have to say everything's magic and open your hand like fairy dust and butterflies are escaping. Just open your hand like a dude.
Yeah, that's funny.
So and one gets hidden. That you don't have to say it vanished or it disappeared. They see it's gone. Where could it be? No. And you open it up, you dump it out. Do you see how I fooled myself? I forgot the key fob wasn't there, and I dumped out. I go, did I just do an invisible shuttle pass? And I fooled myself.
So a couple of things that you've reminded me of. One is, something is saying there about one gets hidden is really clever for a few reasons. One being that in England, hide a key isn't a common thing. I know there's lots of different versions. There's the rock versions. There's the magnetic kind of drawer boxes that actually look a lot like those magic drawers that vanish and reappear, things that we used to get here. We used to get them in like spar shops when I was a kid, and they look like those. They do exist, but like in America, I think it's much more of a thing. And I think the name the idea of a hider key is kind of a more common thing over there in the States, maybe in the rest of the world.
Well, that's your presentation around the world. You say, have you seen these? They use these in the States because they're not that bright.
But like using that language of one gets hidden, that is great if you know what a hider key is. And it's also equally as great if you don't, because it just has clarity in terms of, it isn't too wordy, it isn't corny, it isn't, oh, it's magically vanished, it's teleported, it's disappeared. It's just, I really like it. I like how streamlined that is.
It's not Star Trek. It didn't get it's
matter of fact.
I'm not a Star Trek guy. What's that called? In the transponder?
I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask.
The material.
Laser beam.
Say there's
I don't know.
There's a great show called Burn Notice. One of my favorite shows of all time. It's an ex-spy who got burnt, and he helps regular people using his ex-CIA skills. And he talks about a thing called a slick. A slick is what you hide, so it has to be accessible, but also well hidden. So if it's well hidden under a sewer main, it's not easily accessible. But if it's in your sock drawer, it's easily accessible, but it's not it's someone else is going to find it. So you can talk a little bit about that, and I wouldn't go too deep, but this hide a key with the rock is just the perfect transition. I love your way of putting it out at a meeting. I like putting it out at, say, at the Magic Castle. That'd be funny just to put that aside.
Yeah, it would
you can tell them, tell them it's a paperweight, and you put your cards there.
Yeah, you absolutely could. So hang on. So you've reminded me again of something else that we spoke about probably a few weeks ago now, and I'm going to speak in code because you may or may not want to talk about it here because it references something else you've done with the Hider key previously. But actually, I've just realised in us talking about this, it's unnecessary and not required, but it would be a great addition or additional moment after everything that you just taught us here. Do you want me to say more? I don't want to say too much in case you don't want to share, and then we can just leave it at that. And I could even edit this part out. But
I'm not even sure what you're saying yet. So I'm trying
so
to. I'm a little.
if all of
I
that
need
had
another
happened,
cup.
it's early over there. If all of that had happened, and you put the key in, you close up the Hider key, you set that down, and then you wait a little while. Maybe you do something else. You know, if you're somewhere like the castle, if you're doing a parlor show, if you're in someone's home, and that gets set off to the side on the coffee table, on the whatever, the close-up table, the card table, whatever it is. There could be this moment after the fact whereby you maybe even pick that up, open the drawer, slide the plastic panel off again, dump out that key, and now set it back down, and then you never touch it again. But then it might transform in a way that they wouldn't realize until after the fact.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I know now.
It's just so you were telling me about a routine you've done for a long time with the Hider key, because when we were talking about Hider key originally, you said, "Oh, this will work great. It's something I'm doing for a long time." And as well as it, keys vanishing and going to the Hider key rock that you've got there, you just spoke about this really clever idea, I think, of switching that Hider key rock for a rock that looks kind of similar. And
I had a friend who could make a rock. It looked like a real rock, so it matched my Hider key perfectly. And when you set it back down again, they look at it, you go, you know what? You got to admit, once you know how it's done, it's obvious. But if you didn't know, I think that would fool anybody. They take a close look at, especially without the panel. They go, what do you mean without the panel? Without the slide. They go, what? I go, they turn it over. It's a real rock.
So good.
That is you'll see blood, coming out their eardrum with that one if you get two rocks to look exactly the same.
Yeah, I like that, and I like the idea of that being, also later on and after the fact. So it maybe it is a paperweight or something's put next to it, or it's slid off to the side on the table, and then
you do what I call the "oh by the way" switch. You put it away in your pocket and you come back out with the other one. You go, I think I just use that as a paperweight, and you set that aside. But the way I did it before, so that was one of my ideas to do a switch. But then I came up with a much better idea based on a Paul Harris trick called Uncanny that was popularized by Mike Lamar in 1983 in the Encore 3 series called Beanie Weenie, where the can was there all along. Okay. You don't do a switch. You just pretend like you're dumping things out of it, but the can is already hermetically sealed. In this case, I just had an extra slide on a real rock. Right. So I would open it up like this and let it fall out. And when I put this back in, I would palm that out, and it is the same rock. So you don't have to find another rock that looks the same. It never did go inside the rock because there were no insides.
Yeah, that's interesting. As well, I wonder if, it's all hypothetical on my side now, but I wonder if that kind of felt material, if you could get thinner felt at somewhere like the castle, somewhere where there's some small theatre, some kind of where there's a bit of lighting. I wonder if with black art you could open the panel and almost flash the bottom of that thing, place the panel back on, and steal off. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be a lot of effort. I wonder if you could flash that so it creates the illusion of empty space.
I just think it's so easy to do this.
Yeah, 100%.
And palm it.
Yeah, like I'm over-engineering it, but it's a great idea. It's a really good idea.
And going for the keys now.
Yeah.
And then pretend to slide. Do it from the very beginning. So you do this, and the key falls out. Close it up again. Set it down. Go in your pocket for the key fob or something else.
Yeah, that's really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, that's. Forgot about that. So listen, any last parting words of wisdom or bits of business or thoughts? Or
I mean, not for me. I am just very grateful that you've taken the time to sit down and think about something so great. And I know for you, it's playing around with a cool thing and you've come up with something great. But I hope you enjoy doing it, and I really, really hope that people go and do this. I hope they buy the Hide Key. We'll put the links in the description thing. I think what you've given everyone here, me included, is like a fully formed, what really could become a really entertaining, interesting, and unique 4 or 5 minute routine that is really magical, really surprising, really engaging. And that I don't know, that and so easy, right? You make it look effortless because it's you, but like even a mind reader like me could go and practice that and and do that, and I think it could look great. And
if you can do a billet switch, folks, you can do this. I'm back to the imaginary people again. Ladies, I'll be there in a line form to the right. Come take a number. Okay. All right. I had to go full delusion on you. So I'll close by saying 100% I will actually do this. I look forward. I love the sneaky transition of just putting it on the table and waiting for them to say something.
Yeah.
I think that's just so fun because, as I also emphasize, that any magic trick should be interesting presentationally before you do it magically.
Yeah.
Or magical and presentational. It should just be fun and interesting and captivating in and of itself. And then the magic just helps to bolster or buttress the storyline that you're trying to convey.
Yeah, agreed completely. I think
so.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's so amazing. I'm about to order a Hide Key rock and leave it, kicking around for someone to ask about what it is. But it's really, really great. And I'm very grateful that you're here, and I know everyone else is. I've literally had people, the way Hide Key's been received, with it being something that I wouldn't normally put out. I normally share things about mind reading and memory and stuff. And although I love magic, I've always been a bit dubious to go, hey, here's a magic trick, because I feel like I don't want to overstep almost. Anyway, so this has been very positively received, which is very nice. And I'm still very excited at the potential this has for other people. So you've taken this, you've sat down for a bit, you've played around with it, you've come up with something great. You're going to go and do it. Amazing. That's already big.
Also, if you come up with additional ideas from other people, I'm pretty sure you can include it on the online instructions, like Michael Weber or Garrett Thomas or anybody else who's creatively clever in this arena.
You highlighted how interesting that was to me. The plan is, if people come up with great stuff, it always happens over time as people play around with stuff, perform it, fiddle around with it, whatever. People come up with great stuff. I'll do my utmost to make sure that gets added over time. I've no doubt these instructions, they've already just grown by like an hour or so, right, from this amazing conversation we're having now. And I'm sure that if anyone else comes up with anything great and they're happy to share it, we'll add that here as well. So it will just over time continue.
Not to add to it too much longer, but here's a super important point that I wish I said earlier, because I'm not sure people are still sticking around this long.
They are, they're still here.
Here it is. Reward for those who have stayed and endured this senseless babble, idle chatter, irrelevant word waves, and incomplete gibberish, and a little nonsensical blather. Here it is. I'm super delighted that you didn't make this a locking set, because I asked you earlier when I first saw it, does it lock? And you said no, and here's why. I'll give my reasons and you give your reasons. For starters, it's like a shell on a coin. You don't want a locking shell unless you're doing a locking routine that can be examined. This is not that. It's too fluid and transitional. And in the case of my routine, you want to be able to dump it out whenever you want. Dump it out for a shuttle pass, dump it out in your pocket. It has to have that kind of versatility and facility. If it locks, you're limiting yourself.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up, actually. So I was shown this at Blackpool. So we're filming this just after Blackpool, just after the release of Hide Key, right? This is added content after the fact, which is amazing. And I had a lot of people come up to me at Blackpool and say, hey, does it lock? And I said exactly what you told me to say, Greg, which is no, and here's why. And I explained there is a few key factors to it. It's the get ready is much
no pun intended.
Yeah. Where is it? Over there. Yeah, so the get ready is super simple because for me, this is a trick. It's a thing that's on my keys that I have with me that I can do very quickly. And the get ready is just laying those out, spreading them out in my hands or here. Get ready is very fast. The thinness was very important to me with this. I didn't want it to become too thick. I'm sure somebody somewhere in the
Because
world,
if it were locking, it would probably be twice as thick and more conspicuous.
right? But here's the real thing that I don't think unless you try and make this, you're going to not you, but generally people are going to realize with a Scotch and soda or a coin unique or whichever version of that you are familiar with, right? With a locking coin shell, it's very easy to hide those joins because on coins there are patterns and kind of edges and design, as well as the sheen of the metal and all that stuff. With a key, it's next to impossible to hide that. If you take any real key, it's just, if you imagine there not being a line around the edge, it just becomes almost impossible to hide those joins. So even if hide a key, you are still going to have those lines around the outside of the key. So in my mind, examinable means, Scotch and soda level examinable, or it means, I'm trying to think of another example, or that after the thing vanishes, you can examine the thing. I would not feel comfortable giving this to someone as examinable, even if it perfectly locked. Oh, okay, good. We're plugging in. That's the side I've spoken for too long. Everything you've said has been good, but I'm now waffling on. But one of the big reasons is we tried locking. We tried it Scotch and soda style with the size and the fit and stuff. We tried it with magnets. We tried it in all different ways, and we just disregarded it in the end because it was impractical. It made it thicker, and it was never fully examinable. Like I wouldn't give that out to you to be examined, because you're going to see those lines around the edge. We've done our best.
Yeah, and remember too, if you're explaining, or if you're trying to hide it, you're not telling the story right.
Yeah,
obviously you're trying to hide it, but you're not going to run without being chased. You're not going to let them examine and get close up because it's not about the prop. You're making it too prop contingent.
completely.
And if you're prop minded, you're not story minded. It's all about the story, which is, look, this one goes on the key ring or key fob, and this one gets hidden. It's not, oh, here, check this out now.
Yeah, because that's a distraction.
It shouldn't be about that key. It shouldn't be about this key in this hand. It should be about that hand and where could it be now?
1,000,000%. I completely agree. And it's the same for if you're doing it on the key fob when you're holding it up here between you and them. It vanishes, and the moment you do that and it's gone and you do this display, it's all about where did that pattern key go? Where is it? It's under the watch, it's in the hider key rock, it's in your pocket, it's back on the keychain, it's whatever. And those are all the as well as the fact that you can make it appear on the keychain, you can do your routine with it, that you need to do all those dump outs and the shuttle pass and stuff. It has a lot of advantages that initially, when you think key shell or key unique is or what some people say about this, it seems like a great solution, but then the more time you spend with it, the more time you perform with it and play around with it, you know how it is, man, right? You come up with something, you get it made or you make it yourself, and then just from like the first 2 minutes of trying to do a thing. Today I had what I thought was a great idea for a trick that you'd never think I would come up with, like the key. It was a magic trick, and I was like, this will look great, and I do it
because you're a mentalist.
because I'm meant to,
but is that the point? You sounded slightly self-deprecating. Are you saying that you were unlikely to come up with it because you're more of a mentalist than a magician? Is that
I just think it's surprising for people that I put this out, because I've only ever shared mind reading tricks. I've only ever shared things that are about fake memory. I've only shared things that are about how to peek something or look at something impossibly or know a thought from someone. So in terms of the magicians watching this, it's probably a little surprising initially when they saw the trailer or something. They probably went, why is Rawlins doing this? That's weird. But and that's why I'm kind of glad that everyone's response has been good, because, and I've tried to be modest with it, on the instructions I'm saying, hey, I'm not a coin magician. I am a magician, right? I'm not delusional. I'm not a mind reader. I don't really have those powers. I am a magician, but I know that you've taken this and spent a little time with it and made something great. So I know that people watching this will do the same. And as time goes on, it will grow and become something greater than than the sum of its parts.
Well, you can be just a mentalist here because there are no complicated sleights. I mean, look, you're not even doing a false transfer. That's how well this gimmick is made, that you can literally just turn, do that turn move, take it out, and it's gone. No false transfers, nothing to reconstruct, nothing to worry about. It's just, and by the way, I think you could come up with a mentalist presentation similar to what Max Maven gave me for Freaky. I had these top list of heavy hitters give me contributions, and Max's was fascinating. So if you don't know, Freaky, not to sell it because it's out of stock anyway, it was a double-sided, it was a copper silver key. And his idea was so smart. He goes, look, he shows the copper key, then he puts it back, turns it over, and shows the other key. He says, but in advance, he says, one of these keys is going to disappear off the face of the earth. And when I say gone, I mean gone, not just from my hand, but that's when he said off the face of the earth. So look, you can have the silver key, does a shuttle a paddle move, or you can have the copper key. Which one is going to completely, no, which one do you want to keep? He says silver, okay? We'll keep the silver. That's when he does the paddle move. We'll keep the silver, and the copper will vanish off the face of the earth. Totally and completely gone, never to ever be seen again. Put this one away in your pocket, and here's the problem. That was my house key. Thanks a lot. Now I'm going to have to stay with you. Just send me your address. I'll meet you there tonight. We'll have some good times. And now I think I added a presentation. Could you imagine Max doing that?
That's so good, though. It's so good.
So it became mentalism, that you're getting in their head,
yeah, and
making them see what you want them to see.
I also think so. We did this brainstorm thing with me, Noel, and
I'm sorry. This is how Max did it to make it sound like mentalism, because it just sounded so much like magic. I'm going to get in your head and make you see what I want you to see. That's my line for his trick to make it feel more mental. Right. I'm going to get in your head and make you see what I want you to see. In other words, it didn't really happen in my hand, between my hands, but between your ears.
Yeah. And we were speaking the other day, right, about almost playing this down to the point where you are asking someone, how many do they see, and not acknowledging that response, and then doing this and having it vanish. Do you remember this? And like a sobriety test we were joking about.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was so good. Oh my gosh. This is either a bonus or a
this is a whole other
insomnia.
They have to pay another £54 to watch this video. It's a whole other instructional.
That's right. So I'm going to give you a little sobriety test. I'm going to give you, okay, here's a little sobriety test. Count the keys. Watch close, count the keys. Your eyes are getting heavy. They're getting sleepy. And when you're done, you're down to one here and one here. You thought you saw another one? Obviously, you're seeing double. Hand me your keys. I can't let you drive like this. I'm going to have to call you an Uber. There's no way. Get the wallet. Hand me your wallet. Hand me your phone. Look, I'll call somebody for you. I can't let you. And if you wanted to, you could have this extra key up here, and it falls out. You had an idea with this. I don't remember what you had. Let it fall.
Yeah, holding it behind the key fob and showing the like that, letting it swing, and then it just kind of falls
and then it falls off.
Yeah,
that was more like that was a magic trick. I think it's better mentalism. Watch this. Here's a little sobriety test. Count the keys. 1, 2. They commit themselves to 3. I said, now watch close. You might not say your eyes are getting heavy, because that's 2 presentations in one, hypnotism and sobriety test. But if you do this, I'm sorry, how many did you see?
Yeah.
And they say 3. I go, obviously you were seeing double.
Yeah. It's
good. I don't like the idea of dropping that. I would make it look all mental.
Yeah, like it was never there in the first place. Yeah, I like that. I just think those little things like that are interesting, because they are, it's playful. It's still really visual. Another reason why it doesn't lock. Now, this I've talked about this again in the other massive video that.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. I apologize. I don't want to forget this. I accidentally have the thin one here, and the extra key went in there. Have you done that before?
Oh yeah, it can go in, but obviously it looks a bit thicker, but it still looks good, right?
But it still looked good. It still fooled me.
Yeah.
So when this one fell, it was extra thin, it hit the table. I went, that sounded weird. But just be cognizant of that in the future. So say what you were saying. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I've lost. Look, at sobriety test has worked on me. I've lost my thought. It wasn't anything amazing. Oh,
I'm so sorry.
Don't apologize. It's all right. It's all good. Yeah, this is all. I mean, look how much stuff there is with this, right? It could go on forever. I think there's real value in approaching it like a full routine. There's real value in having those playful, funny, quick things you can do with it. I know what I was going to say now. An accidental discovery about it not locking after we realized that it was a pain because of thickness and get ready and all that stuff. Because it doesn't lock, when you're shaking it like that, it just reminded me, because it doesn't, you see like if you're using 3 keys like I am here, so that's my extra key here, but I'm using 3 normally like this, so house key and 2 extras. When I shake that and it's spinning, what I started saying to people recently is, I'm going to hold this here. How many keys do you see? 3 keys. So let me take this off and I'll do it exactly to the camera for you.
That's my freaky key.
It is your freaky key for the sake of I don't know, safety. Not that anyone's going to own a key or know where I live, but anyway. So that is your freaky key. How many keys do you see? See if this focuses. Come on, camera.
3. Yeah. Oh.
Carry on. They've seen this on the instructions. The middle one is the hardest to get to, right? Because it's in the middle. So now when I do this, I say you're going to watch that middle key, and you'll see it swing back and forth until it just chooses not to be there anymore. And then I do this side on display.
Oh, that's so good.
And
I love the line because it doesn't sound like Magic Boy until it chooses not to be there anymore.
Not to be there, but you see it because of how it works, and because there isn't magnets. Let me stand up a little. Chairs. There we go. So those 3 keys, the one in the middle is the one to watch. You're going to watch that key swing back and forth. So I'm telling them what to look for, right? Because it doesn't lock with magnets. If it did, it would fall. That would click together, and then you would just see 2 keys. But because it doesn't lock, the visual is actually better, right? So I'm going to say you're going to see that middle one. It's going to swing back and forth until it chooses not to be there. And then I go into this.
Oh, that's so good. I love that initial display because it's just so subtle. One finger,
it's
open,
really
not hiding.
But it's not. It's open.
Now, would you make it reappear in your pocket or someplace?
Wherever you want. So that's free reign. In their pocket. If I can get it on their keychain in a casual situation, that's fun because where it goes to your keys. No, and it's just.
Have you done that?
Yeah, only a couple of times because it's got to be on the table in the coffee shop, and you got to wait for it to go to the bathroom because you need like a good 30 seconds.
Listen, Michael Weber has a motto. I use it all the time, not just the motto, but the application. Be so far ahead of the game, they don't even know a game is being played yet. That guy is so diabolical. And I say this in my lecture, so I'm going to sound redundant to people who've seen my lecture. I say, when we go out to breakfast or lunch, he gets there 5 minutes before me to set things up. He's always being the opportunist. He'll set up a salt shaker. He'll bribe the waitress. He'll set something in a planter 5 minutes before me. But I'm aware of this after all these years. We've known each other since 1981. So I'm aware of this 5 minute before me to the restaurant technique. So I get there 5 minutes before him. But he's also aware of that. So we're camping out the night before just to fool each other. What are you doing here tonight? I don't know. I thought I'd get here early. Why are you here? I don't. He's diabolical. So he would absolutely place that in the sneakiest. He'll sneak it in their shoe if he has to.
Imagine I don't know how you could do this, but if you go full ridiculous, imagine how great if you could get that on someone's shoe or shoelace or or necklace or something crazy that shouldn't make any sense, but imagine if you could somehow. And I think that's a cool frame of mind to be in for this. You can be opportunistic with pocketing it, with teach a really good load on the instructions. But
Did you just use my line?
I don't know what did I say?
I coined a phrase many years ago. I'm not just a pickpocket, I'm a put pocket.
Oh no,
Did you just say that?
I said put pocket, yeah, but I didn't. That not me as a put pocket, but that's how I know it. If I'm just lobbing stuff in people's pockets, I'm just putting it in their pocket. I didn't know that was from you.
Yeah, it's been in my show for 35, 40 years.
Well, I
did a thing with Oprah, by the way, on reverse pickpocketing on her show called OWN, OWN. And I taught a group of people, I don't know, 15 years ago or something, how to put things into people's pockets to pay it forward. And it was a little envelope with a card. I forget what the card said. And in it was $20. So I taught these random groups of people, a mixed array of people, how to get into people's personal space, public space, personal space, private or intimate space. And they had to get in there. And it was so good because I'm on a hidden camera. I'm in a camera with a FM wireless recorder, and I tell them, get a little closer, get back, do this, and they get excited. I go, don't get excited now. Leave first. These guys were great.
That's good. I'm trying to think of other places that aren't on the instruction. I just think it's a good challenge to imagine if you're out there doing hide a key. Just imagine you want to share it with all the other people that have it, right? So imagine you go, oh, this would be great if I could do it, and then tell, like you have those people in magic, your circle of friends within magic, and when you see them, you go, oh, I did your thing the other day, it was great, and this is what happened. Or you go, you'll never guess what happened whilst I was doing X, Y, Z. This could be one of those things. I think it would be a fun challenge for everyone watching this to try and come up with.
Yeah, I like what you said earlier. Be in the right frame of mind, even before you do the trick. Just going throughout the day, going, where could I put this? Where could I hide this? Oh, and off the cuff, I put a routine that I created called Coin Under Watch. And with Freaky, I used to put keys there. So when it vanished, it would reappear under their watch with a key, a coin, anything that you want. But the key fits absolutely perfect there.
Yeah, great. Yeah. This is so you obviously mentioned on the credit. There's a whole. I went really in like crazy level talking about who had done what and what that had come from, and obviously your name was right at the top of all that, because I think Under the Watch is a really good place to have this go. And I think you've done it for years, right? But I haven't been putting stuff under people's watches for years. But in the process of developing this, I've gained real confidence with getting that under someone's watch. And the more you do it, I think the more you feel it is like a mindset, right? It's like the more you just feel like, yeah, I can do this, and you get it under there.
Super, especially if you have the proper subterfuge. So if I have this extra key here like this, and it can go in this way or it can go in this way, whatever you feel comfortable with. And when you put these keys in their hand and you're doing it this way, going from here this way, you're putting it like this, but they don't know that you're doing this when you're focusing on this. So not only do you have the proper motivation to touch them and to secretly insert the extra key, but that first key is vanishing in their hand, not just like this.
Yeah. I think that's
so they're like, wait, that just happened in my. So if you do that clean display after it vanished in their hand from the middle, in between these two keys, and then it appears, that's real magic.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like TV level magic when you get to that.
Okay, we're going to end here, and I want people to come up to you, and they're going to say, bibbity bobbity boop. If they say that, they know they got to the very end.
Yeah, there you go. I want to hear it. Okay.
So on that note, thank you for having me. Thanks for sharing this with me. I have something in my personal performance repertoire now. I think it's fantastic.
Thank you so much. All right, let's wrap it up there. But thank you so much. Massively appreciated. And thank you all for watching this. What was the code word? Bibbity boppity boop.
Bibbity bobbity boop.
There we go.
Isn't that like Cinderella or something? I don't know. I've been old too long.
All right. Let's call it there. Thank you.
Cheers. Take care.